I never thought that when I retired, I would end up here at midnight, having a drink with my daughter at my lake house. While my wife cried alone in the bedroom, I drank champagne with a real estate agent. But that's where my 32 years as Thunder Bay's fire chief led me. I was caught by the chief in Thunder Bay. That feeling that makes you double-check smoke alarms and come over. If you don't feel good, leave 3 hours early. It should have been Thanksgiving week. Martha and I had. We built our lives together for decades. She taught second grade for 28 years, and I worked my way up from not being a firefighter at all to being the chief. When I finally retired this spring at age 60, we thought we had earned our peace. It wasn't much when we bought the lake house 25 years ago. It was just a broken down house on Lake Superior. But I had set it up with my own hands. Margaret put in the garden, picked out the paint colors, and put together every window frame and deck board. It was. Our grandchildren were going to learn how to fish there, and we were going to spend our golden years watching the sun go down over the water. 3 days before Thanksgiving, on Tuesday night, they were driven up from Thunder Bay. They didn't want me to quit after all. Party at the last minute. A meeting about the budget that couldn't be changed. I'm okay with that. I hated being the center of attention. Anyway, pay attention. On Monday, Margaret came up with our daughter Jessica and her husband Marcus to get the house ready for the holiday season. Our son Tyler was going to come over on Thursday with his wife and 2 kids. It took almost 3 hours in the dark November weather. Janet didn't answer the phone when I called her twice. Nothing strange about it. Cell service was available. There are places out there. But something made me feel bad. I haven't read Smoke in 32 years. It was easy to see trends and tell when things were going to go badly. I drove up the gravel road around 10:30. It looked like a Christmas tree. That's strange. Mary went to bed around 9 most nights. I got my overnight bag from. When I got out of the truck and walked to the front door, my boots crunched on the frosty dirt. That's when I heard it. Big, happy laughs could be heard from the back deck and below. The sound of someone screaming, but not as loud. I didn't use the front door to get in. Fire chiefs were taught how to make decisions. See things from more than one angle. It was dark when I went around the side of the house. It was wrapped up. Around the back, where you can see the lake. It was possible to see the shapes of 3 people standing there. Next to the door light. She is 32 years old and has dark hair that shines. Marcus was tall and waved a champagne glass around a lot. He had been married to her for 4 years. A man I didn't know was also there. Plus-sized and dressed in a nice suit even though it was late. We're going to the new Lake Superior Resort and Spa. Marcus's voice was clear. In the cool November air. This is where we'll make a lot of money. Great land right on the water. This is the best you can do. There won't be any trouble with your family. Sounds like the stranger isn't sure about that. She told me, my dad is 60. Her voice said something to me that I had never heard before. Being cold. Both of them have markers on them. Mom forgot to pay the last month of bills. Mom can't remember when Dad has to be somewhere. It's all in writing. The doctor visit for memory loss is on Friday. My blood froze over. Remember. What is a drugstore? What the heck did she mean? What about the papers? The stranger pushed. Marcus already said it. Not having any issues. The power to make decisions about your health and money, if the memory test shows that things are getting worse. There's no need for it. The law makes us their guardians. They go to that great place for seniors to live in Thunder Bay. We're building on the land. The stranger said that everyone else wins. They won't even know the difference in a few years, Jessica said as she raised her glass. It's for their own good. At their age, they shouldn't be living out here by themselves. I came across houses that were on fire. I got people out of their cars. Flies off. I had held the hands of friends who were dying, but hearing those words from my own mouth was much worse. Voice of my daughter. I went outside to the balcony. How old are they? I'm 60 years old. Hi Jessica, no. 90. They all turned around. The bubbly glasses got cold from the air. The color of Jessica's face changed. Dad, We thought you wouldn't show up until Thursday. It's clear that I looked at each one by one. Could someone please tell me what I heard? Marcus got better first. He always done. I knew a lot about him when Jessica brought him home 4 years ago. Once a sales manager. A smooth talker with big plans. 3 business ideas he tried to make happen failed. But Jessica liked him, and I didn't tell anyone about my fears. I'm sorry now. That choice. It's great to see you, Bob. Marcus put out his hand. I didn't take it. We were just talking about what the land could be used for. Chances to put money away. Possibilities for my home. I told you that I made by hand when you were still in diapers. Dad, please. She put her drink down. Let's talk. It's not good for Mom. Really? You said that she is strong enough to be kicked out of her house, which I just heard. The bills were due, but she forgot to pay them. Justine's voice got stronger. The power was almost turned off. Why didn't that happen in the winter? It's possible that the cold killed you. This way. I paid the electric and water bills. Like I do every month, 3 weeks ago. I kept. How loud I am. 32 years of being in charge of accidents. Do not get angry. Try. Once more. The strange person coughed. I guess I should go. Not at all. I looked at him. What are you? Theodore Breenage. Putting up new homes. He was kind enough too. They looked like they were in trouble. I had no idea what this was. You can be with your family. Talk. He left quickly and was almost in a hurry to get to his car. The engine was heard start, and saw the headlights go through the trees. Marcus's jaw got tight. You're not being fair. We want to help you. Leave my house now. You're 60 years old. Bob is many years old. How long can you keep this house? In the cold? By yourself? I kindly said, 6 months ago, I was pulling people out of burning buildings. That sounds like something I could do. It's not just the house. For a while, Jessica's eyes were red. I saw my baby once more. After she blinked, the stranger was back. It's your mom. She has been losing her way and forgetting things. Last week, she forgot what day it was. It had been the week. She knew for sure what day it was. She made fun of something. Think about it. She doesn't think it's true. You are too. Marcus moved toward her. I didn't. Come back. We've known about the signs for months. The bills that show up in the fog, the confusion. The memory issues. Our brain test has already been set up. Put it down. It's not possible. We're not going to. Mark's words got harder. You might not see it, but we do. We'll let you know when the results of that test are ready. The power to decide what's best for both of you to keep you safe. That's when I heard it again. It was now being cried from inside the house. I pushed past them and left. In. The master bedroom was at the end of the hall. The door was locked, a line of light coming up from below. Margaret just cried and didn't answer. I opened the door. When my wife sat on the edge of the bed, she was still wearing the clothes she wore earlier. Her lips were and her face was red and splotchy. Weeping. When she looked up at me, I saw something that made my chest grow tight. Fear. Bob, you're here. Why are you here? The party was cancelled. What's wrong? What do you love? Why are you crying? I was right next to her when she shook herself up. Right away. What's going on? I got some papers from Jessica. To write your name on. She said it was to keep us safe, but I read them and they're not, though. They're not what she said. She wants to be in charge of everything. The house, our money, and the healthcare options we have. She got mad when I said no. Crazy. I still don't get it. I'm going crazy. You're not losing anything. How? Do you know? She broke down. What if I'm wrong? What if she's right? I forgot. Last week, I forgot what day it was and where I put my car keys yesterday. You made a joke about. You always put your keys in your coat pocket on Saturdays. Hugged her and said, Margaret, look at me. You're not sick. That was the question. Why would Jessica say those things? I helped Margaret sit down again, and then. It was loud in the living room, so I went to the bedroom door and locked it. I told you to stay here. Janet, I need to take care of something. When I got back to the living room, Jessica and Marcus were hugging each other. When they saw me, they broke up. I told her she wasn't signing anything. Dad, you aren't signing anything, she said. The way I think is very clear. It's the clearest I've been in weeks. I sat down in my seat. I got one from Thunder Bay when we retired. Let me guess. Marcus has. They are having money problems. From what I can tell, it looks like they are gaming. You were desperate and saw money in this land, so you made a plan to have us proclaimed. You're not good at what you're doing, so take our money and sell everything we own. Marcus's cheeks turned red. I heard you say that on the deck. That's not smart, is it? Lodge and spa on Lake Superior. That's a nice touch. We're trying to keep you from. Jessica's voice became high-pitched. You shouldn't be living out here anymore. You're too old to take care of your own business. And if you can't see it, the test might help. I changed. There are still people who think this whole thing was an accident. Get out. Sorry. Leave my house. Marcus laughed now, and he really laughed. We're not going. Just about anywhere. We also have some papers for you to sign about giving property to a family trust. It's normal for someone your age to do all of this. Marcus, I'm 60 years old. Not senile. That's not what the doctor's report says. He pulled a folder out of his jacket. Memory loss, confusion, and acting in a bad way. Making decisions, which are all early signs of cognitive decline. We have been keeping track of everything. Which doctor? Not been to the doctor. Dr. Raymond Chan is very good at taking care of older people. Last month about your refusal. I slowly stood up and asked him to show it to me. He did. Yes, I did read it. It had professional paper, detailed notes, and ideas for action right away. There was one thing that made it look fake. Had been written on October 15th. Tyler and I fished together from October 10th to October 20th. Province. Please do it again. Marcus's face went blank for a moment. He said, it must be a typo. I put the box down. Last but not least. You have one chance. You need to leave now, or I'll call the police. Why? Because you tried to steal or commit fraud. Pick one, elder abuse or neglect. Jessica's face fell. Please, Dad. We are not. Someone is trying to hurt you, but Marcus and I are doing our best to help. We're in a tough spot, and he needs to pay back a lot of money. These people don't seem nice at all. We thought that if we could build on the land and sell it quickly, we'd be fine. Now you can give them the money back and start over. No one has to get hurt. There it was, the truth. So you were going to. I said it in a quiet voice, take your mom's house. It's the house we built together, where you learned to swim. Your kids should learn how to fish. You were going to sell everything, give your mom drugs, and make fake papers. Because your husband lost a lot of money gaming. We weren't going to give anyone drugs. I heard Margaret. She's barely able to speak. Marcus moved his weight. Just something to calm her down. She was going crazy about. I looked through the papers and saw proof. I pulled out my phone. Jessica asked what you were doing. I called my son and told him Tyler wouldn't be here until Thursday. He is now, though. I got an answer on the second ring. Tyler, be at the lake house right now and take. Dad, it's almost 11 o'clock. What's up? Your sister and her husband are trying to take the house. I need your help. I need a break. I'll be there in 2 hours. Don't let them touch. I hung up the phone. Jessica was crying really hard. For a short time, it almost got softer. Almost. I told Tyler I would bring proof. Of all things. We're going to call the cops after what you did. Marcus said there was no proof, but his voice was shaking. Tyler has been worried about you two for a long time and has been looking into things in the background. What do you think about that? But I saw it hit Marcus in the face and turn white. Please, Dad. Marcus will be hurt if we don't pay back this money, Jessica begged. They've already said they'll do something. His work. Partner, he was hurt, and we're scared. You should call the police. Parental items should not be taken from them. We tried, but they said there was no proof of the threats, so they couldn't do anything. Marcus's partner won't say anything because he's scared. I looked over at my girl. When did she do that? How did she become this person? When did she need help so badly that she would drug her own mother? How much do you owe? Marcus said in a soft voice, $200,000. I stood back up and asked, what? I had a plan for how the casino should work, and it did for a while. It happened for a while, but then it didn't. I kept trying to get it back, but the people I rented from aren't patient. You thought that killing your wife's parents would be the best way to solve your problem. We were going to lock you up. It was a great place, one of those senior homes with programs and medical staff. They didn't have to ask us, and they didn't. You planned to lock us up and say we weren't capable so you could take everything we've worked for without our permission. She went to the door and grabbed the frame for support. Jessica, please tell me he's wrong. Tell me you wouldn't do that to us. Jessica couldn't look her mom in the eye. Margaret said, oh, baby, and I hurt her. I made strong, black coffee because I was sad. The next 2 hours went by slowly. Margaret sat at the kitchen table and quietly cried. Jessica and Marcus were sitting next to each other on the couch. While keeping my phone close, I sat in my chair and watched them both. Put something in front of the door when they tried to leave once. You're not prisoners, he said. Also, not guests. Wait for Tyler to come here. Then what? We'll come with you. How old is your daughter, Jessica? She tried to steal our house and gave her mother drugs. That changes things. When it got to 1:30, headlights sped through the windows. Tyler smashed through the door like a storm, and his wife Sarah was right behind him. Dad? He had a firm grip on me. Are you okay? Is Mom? We'll take care of it. I made a sign for the couch. They're still here. Tyler looked at his sister. Something happened. There was something cold and clear. What the heck is going on, Jess? Don't take part in this. Stay away from Mom and Dad's house, Tyler. I don't believe that. He began. On his laptop. Since I heard about Marcus's business problems 3 months ago, I've been keeping up with you too. Wanna see? Marcus got up. You weren't allowed to. Take a seat. Tyler's voice could break glass. Tracks of casinos. Over 18 months, they lost $247,000. Loan money. From well-known loan sharks. Email threats sent to you. 3 times, you've asked family for money. He turned the laptop over after I said no. The fake Dr. Chen, who is? What I really did was call Dr. Raymond Chen, a chiropractor in Winnipeg, who said he has never heard of either of you and is very worried about fraudsters who are using his name. Jeanette made a sound like an animal in pain. Tyler said, and there's more. There is no such place as the Memory Center where you scheduled an appointment for Mom. Marcus, the lawyer for elder care, said that he is an actor who lives in Toronto and does business videos for a living. I got Marcus's contact information and the money from his bank account. The stories of what happened with Moms. I got the real bills, and for 3 years in a row, they've been paid on time. And the forms for the power of attorney. I had a lawyer look them over for me. They're not just. They are against the law in Ontario. If you sign them, you give up all your rights and can't get them back. How did you get all of this? Marcus told him. I work as a computer analyst. For the government of the province. Tyler turned off the PC, and I know how to turn it all into a bundle. For the police. It was awful, Jessica said in a low voice. You were a criminal, Tyler replied. There's a difference. If Marcus was in danger, there were a dozen legal ways to handle the problem. You picked. Tyler, please. I got up, Jessica. He's my husband. I love him. I couldn't. You were going to let something bad happen to your parents instead? Keep quiet. The kind of quiet that people who know they can't go back settle over a house. I jumped up and told them, I'm calling the police. He put up his hand and said, wait a minute. What if we leave now? We'll be right back. Leave the area and never come back. We'll never hear from you again. What do you owe? I asked. I'll figure something out. They'll come looking. Okay, I'll take care of it. Just don't call the. Kindly call the police. Jessica will not be able to sell real estate anymore and will have a criminal record. Her life is going to end. That's something she should have thought about before giving my wife drugs. Then Margaret spoke back, but her voice was weak and broken. What? What did you give me? The girl looked at the ground. You smashed up pills for sleep in your. Have a drink. The paperwork was giving you a lot of stress. Marcus answered, we could fake my signature if you slept for a while. Signature, she said. We wouldn't have had to if you just listened to reason. I saw steel in Margaret's back that I hadn't seen in hours. Reasons would have been talking. Not giving me drugs and stealing our house, but to us for help. You're my. What a shame that you didn't trust me enough to even ask for help, daughter. I would have done anything to help you. Tears, real ones this time, not fake ones, but I was over it. When I picked up the phone, I called 911 to report an attempted theft. Abuse of the old and elderly people. Marcus lunged at me, but Tyler stopped him and wrestled him. Tyler told her, don't move. Sarah has video now. Sarah took out her phone and started to record. After about 45 minutes, the officer showed up. Everything you do is proof. The provincial police in this area were based in Nipigon and were in charge of Officer Patricia Devo. She was in her 40s and had seen it all twice. No one was going to get away with nonsense from her, so she got accounts from everyone. We were looked at one by one. They looked at Tyler's proof and the fake papers. She told her boss about Marcus, who was in handcuffs by 4 a.m. fraud, trying to steal, and having a fake name are the charges against Chen. You have the right to remain quiet. Jessica wasn't arrested for having drugs. Not yet, but Officer Devo made it clear that Miss Chen, you are still responsible. We'll look into it, and I really think you should talk to a lawyer. Marcus was taken away, and Jessica was sitting at our kitchen table by herself, her heart broken. You should go, Margaret said quietly. Broken table by itself, Margaret said in a low voice, you should go. Mom, I'm so sorry. We heard that Jessica left. I'm sorry. I know, but you still have to go. Tyler stayed with Sarah while she drove off in the dark November night. He heard her car start and the dirt crunch as she went. We got the guest room ready and sat down to watch the sun rise over Lake Superior. I never wanted this, I said. All I wanted was to get old in peace, I said. I get it, Dad. Tyler put his hand on my shoulder, but we'll get through it. We'll protect what you built. The next few weeks went by quickly. Marcus was now a. They were charged with giving Margaret drugs, stealing her name, trying to steal from her, and fraud. Even though Jessica wasn't charged, the real estate board began to look into it. Her license was temporarily taken away until the. When someone else in Winnipeg used his name, the fake Dr. Chen got very angry and said he would sue the real Dr. Chen. The actor in Toronto did everything the police asked of him in return for immunity. He thought he was working for a. Marcus didn't know he was a part of a scam because the people he owed money to never showed up. Tyler looked into it more and found that most of the debt was to a real casino, not loan sharks. The threats were serious, but Tyler didn't take them too seriously. They were legal threats, like lawsuits, pay garnishments, and bankruptcy. They were scary, but not real. Marcus lied to Jessica to get her to do what he wanted, which could have been the hardest part. Jessica had hurt Marcus. Marcus lied about how dangerous it was to get her to agree to the plan. In January, I gave my proof, and so did Margaret. Tyler also gave his. The prosecutor was very thorough, and Marcus's lawyer couldn't get around the large amount of evidence that showed his client's guilt. Marcus planned to lie, so he got 5 years in jail with no chance of getting out. To at least 3. The judge was harsh because senior victims are especially weak and the crime broke trust. Jessica didn't go to jail, but because of what she did, she lost her real estate license. It was her wish to end the marriage for good, and the prosecution asked her to do so as part of. As part of her restorative justice, she had to say sorry in front of everyone. This took place in February at the Thunder Bay Town Hall. Marge and I were in the front row of a meeting in our neighborhood to stop elder abuse. Jessica was speaking. My name is Jessica Harrison Chen, she said first, and then she shook. There wasn't any noise in the room. I poisoned my mom and tried to take their house to pay off my husband's gambling bills. 100 people were looking at her. I told myself I was helping them because they were too old and confused and needed me. I didn't want to make decisions for them, but I did need their house. I didn't ask for help like a good person would, I tried to hurt them. She couldn't talk. My dad is 60 years old. He worked for this town for 32 years as a fireman and chief. I talked to him like he wasn't smart, even though he had put out fires and saved lives. My mom taught second grade for 28 years and made a big difference in the lives of many kids. And gave her drugs. She cried a lot. I can't take back what I did. I can't change the betrayal, but I can promise you that elder abuse doesn't just happen to strangers. It happens to everyone. It takes place in families and when people are desperate and make bad choices that ruin everything. Looked right at us and said, I know you can't forgive me, Mom and Dad. I know I messed up. It's something that can't be fixed. I just want you to know that I know what I did, what I broke, and I'm sorry. I'll try to be better every day for the rest of my life after that night. She left. No one cheered, there was only heavy, critical quiet. We didn't talk to her. Then we went back to our apartment in Thunder Bay, where we had moved for the winter. The house by the lake was beautiful. Put away for the winter and waiting for spring, Margaret cried that night. Not for Jessica's. We were hurting because of what we had lost, Margaret said in a whisper, she was our daughter. We knew it was going to happen, so I told her we trusted her. That's not a fail. That's what parents do. Do I think we should let her off the hook? Not today. Maybe tomorrow. They brought their 8 and 6-year-old children over twice a week for dinner, which made our apartment loud and lively. They read them stories and taught them how to play cards. They also began making plans for the summer at the lake house. In March, a letter arrived. Took it from Jess and held it for a long time. It felt heavy. Don't you do that? Marge asked, are you going to open it? I caught a glimpse of my wife. Since that November night when we both met, she was older. She was still my Margaret, though. Still the woman I was with. I said no. Not right now. Maybe not at all. Saturday and Sunday, Tyler drove us back up. The house by the water. Lake Superior's ice was starting to break up. It was almost springtime. We went outside to the deck I'd built. The deck where I heard my daughter making plans to hurt us. Margaret said in a soft voice that we could sell. Start over. Not here, not there. Not at all. I put my arm around her. We loved building this and worked hard to do it. And time. That is ours and no one else can take it away. Not Jessica. Not Marcus. Not a single person. Tyler came. With his kids. They were ready to go on an adventure and were dressed up to stay warm in March. May we go to the beach? Grandpa? My granddaughter was interested. That's possible. Keep your distance from me. They laughed as they ran away. Tyler joined us on the deck. Jessica has been trying to get to. He told you to get to him. Needs to talk. That was his choice, I told him. You have a sister. You can do what you want. What are you going to do? As the sun came up over the water, I watched my grandchildren play. I'm not sure. Son. I'm not sure, I might be able to forgive her one day. I could see her as my daughter again, not the one who meant to hurt us. For now, though, I just want to enjoy what? Yes, I have. This house. You, your mom, and your family. That's enough. Mary Ann leaned on me. She told us we made it. Yes, we did. Are we going to be okay? Seeing. In the house next door. The garden that May would be planted by Margaret. The dock where I taught my grandchildren how to fish. The bedroom from which we could see more sunsets. We'll be okay, I said. It was once more Thanksgiving. Tyler, that November night seems like a long time ago now. Saturday and Sunday, Sarah and her kids came up. The sides that Margaret always makes were made, along with turkey. The kids. I got flour all over the place when I helped bake pumpkin pie. While the kids played board games after dinner, Tyler showed me his Cell phone. Jessica sent this. It was a picture. Jessica, who looked tired and thin. Having work in a place that looked like a coffee shop. The title read, 9 months without drinking. 3 times a week of care and dealing with what my choices have led to. Are you all okay? Are you going to answer? I asked. I'm not sure. Thoughts? She looked at the picture and asked, me? Catherine came over. Her face changed in some way. There was pain, sadness, and maybe, just maybe, a very small hint of something different. She said, that's between you and your sister. But Tyler, don't let what she did hurt your friendship with her. What you have in common with her. She picked bad things to do. She did a lot of damage. She's still your sister, though, and I hope we can meet her someday. Once more. But I said not today. Margaret did not let go of my hand. Not right now. That night, after everyone else had gone to bed, I went back out on the deck one last time. It was cold in November, just like it was in. It had been a year. But everything else was not the same. I learned something that night when I got home early. I'd learned that the people you love the most can hurt you the most. That trust isn't very strong. Being that old doesn't make you not strong. If you trust the wrong people, it does. I also learned that betraying someone doesn't have to end in death. You can love someone from far away and still set bounds. To forgive doesn't mean to get back together. That you have to give up your life in order to lose it. I could see the lake. It's dark and never ends. Marge came out and wrapped a blanket around both of us. She asked, what are you thinking about? Asked. I stated, how lucky I am. Even though everything. How lucky I am. She gave me a cheek kiss. Me, too. We stood there and looked up at the sky for a long time. When I saw the water, I felt calm for the first time in a year. The house was still ours. We were still living the way we had planned. And it didn't matter what Jessica became. It would be hers alone no matter what road she took. What was important to us was kept safe. We were done. Also sometimes. That's